Are you hiding skeletons in your closet from the rest of the world and in process living in denial of your very own shadows? Shadow work. Does it sound scary or ominous, like something that belonged in the supernatural realm? Shadow work isn't about ghosts or fear. It's about facing those hidden parts of ourselves with courage and compassion. Those parts we often keep tucked away in the shadows. In this video, we're going to demystify shadow work and give you top 5 tips for effective shadow work. We'll explore what the shadow self really is, how to recognize its presence in our lives, and most importantly, how to work with it to foster greater wholeness and authenticity. Let's start by understanding what we mean by the shadow. In the simplest terms, it's the unconscious aspect of our personality, the part of ourselves we've disowned or repressed, often because it feels too painful, too messy, or too different from who we think we should be. This concept, rooted in Jungian psychology, reminds us that we are complex beings with both light and shadow within us. And just like we can't have light without darkness, we can't have wholeness without acknowledging and integrating every part of ourselves, including the parts that make us uncomfortable. The shadow isn't bad. It's human. It's where we store our insecurities, our fears, our shame, and our anger. But it's also where we hold our creativity, our passion, our deepest desires, and our authentic selves. Understanding the shadow is the first step toward self-acceptance. It's about recognizing that we are not perfect, and that's okay. In fact, it's in our imperfections that we often find our greatest strengths and our most profound connections with others. When we don't acknowledge our shadow, it doesn't just disappear, it festers. It creates inner fragmentation, a sense of disconnect between who we believe we are and who we really are at our core. And this disconnect can manifest in a myriad of ways, often creating chaos in our lives. One of the biggest problems with an unacknowledged shadow is that it tends to drive our behavior in unconscious ways. We might find ourselves projecting our own insecurities onto others, judging them for the very qualities we dislike in ourselves. We might sabotage our own success, fearing that we're not worthy of love, belonging, or achievement. The shadow can also wreak havoc on our relationships. It can lead to unhealthy patterns, communication breakdowns, and an inability to truly connect with others from a place of authenticity. When we're carrying around unacknowledged shame and fear, it's hard to show up in our relationships as our wholehearted selves. But here's the good news. We don't have to be ruled by our shadows. By shining a light on these hidden parts, we can begin to understand them, heal them, and integrate them into our sense of self. This is the heart of shadow work, transforming the parts of ourselves that hold us back into sources of strength, resilience, and deeper connection. If shadow self is hidden part of ourselves where we tuck away the emotions, experiences, and parts of ourselves we deem unacceptable. How do we then identify our own shadows? Remember, recognizing our shadow is not about dwelling in the darkness, but shining a light on what's hidden so we can move toward wholeness. The first step is to notice your projections. When we judge others harshly or become overly critical, we might actually be projecting our own disowned qualities onto them. Pay attention to those moments when you have a strong emotional reaction to someone else's behavior. Ask yourself, what is it about their behavior that triggers me? Next, pay attention to your emotional triggers. Our shadow often reveals itself through intense emotional reactions. What makes you defensive, angry, or fearful? These emotional triggers can be valuable clues to understanding the parts of yourself you've disowned. Third, recognize patterns in your life. Do you find yourself repeating the same mistakes in relationships or career choices? These patterns can point to unresolved shadow aspects that are influencing your behavior. Finally, One of the most powerful ways to access your shadow is through introspective journaling. Take some time each day to sit with yourself and write down your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Ask yourself, what am I feeling resistant to? What parts of myself am I hiding? Remember, shadow work is a journey of self-discovery. It's about embracing all of who we are, the light and the shadow, so we can live more authentically and wholeheartedly. So, you're ready to delve into the often uncomfortable but ultimately liberating world of shadow work. That takes courage. Remember, acknowledging our shadow doesn't mean condoning bad behavior. It's about understanding the wounded parts of ourselves that need healing. Here are top 5 tips for effective shadow work. First, approach this work with radical self-compassion. There will be moments of resistance, judgment, even shame. Meet those feelings with kindness. Second, cultivate a regular mindfulness practice. Whether it's meditation, journaling, or simply paying attention to your breath, mindfulness helps you observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, creating space for deeper understanding. Third, find a compassionate witness. Sharing our shadow work with a trusted therapist, mentor, or friend can help us process difficult emotions and gain valuable insights. Fourth, embrace creativity. Shadow work doesn't have to be all serious introspection. Sometimes, expressing ourselves through art, music, or writing can unlock profound truths. Finally, remember that shadow work is a journey, not a destination. There's no finish line, no magic wand to wave away all our imperfections. It's about showing up with curiosity and compassion day after day, embracing the messy, beautiful complexity of being human. Watch this video on ego, an insecure joker, judging others, thereby projecting your shadow. Share your experiences with shadow work in the comments below. What resonates with you? What challenges have you faced? Let's create a supportive space to learn and grow together. Remember, by integrating all parts of ourselves, we step into a more authentic, fulfilling, and meaningful life.